special edition of NASCAR Race Hub, where we're talking all about those two guys, Kurt and Kyle Busch, the Busch brothers. Why are we talking them? Well, because we're going to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where they are from this weekend for the Cup Series race. Bobby Labonte, Ricky Craven alongside me, Kaitlyn Vincie. And guys, Vegas, I can't think of a better venue for a race with NASCAR.
Oh, it's the most awesome place to go to, not just away from the racetrack, but the racetrack is really fun to race on. I've raced on it for many years, 2 different configurations. It's really cool to race there, and these guys always look forward to going there. It's a fast racetrack.
It's a great place if you're a champion and got a lot of money, but it's not a lot of fun getting money.
Sorry.
Yeah, so what you're saying is you need a thick wallet in order to have fun in Las Vegas.
It's an exciting place.
It is indeed. Well, here's a look at the focus of our show today. In case you don't know, here are the numbers for the Busch brothers. Older brother Kurt at 41 years of age, now in his 20th season with 31 wins in that 2004 championship. Younger brother Kyle, 4 seasons less, but 56 wins and 2 championships to his credit. Not too bad for the Busch brother duo in terms of those numbers. But I want to talk quickly about the outlook for 2020 for both of these drivers and kind of where they're at in their careers.
So I think it's pretty obvious that Kyle Busch is in the sweet spot of his career. He got a 2nd title. I think the expectations across the board for him are that he's going to get a 3rd, maybe a 4th, even a 5th, because he's still got a long runway ahead of him. His brother Kurt, 41, might have felt a little old a year ago, but now he's revitalized. He had a great year last year with Chip Ganassi, and I think he's energized, and he'll battle for another title.
Yeah, he really is. And what I love about Kurt is the fact that what he's done is he's been mad, he's been fast, he's been like, okay, but now it looks like he's calm, cool, and having a great time. Won the Daytona 500 a couple years ago. He's just really good. At this point in time, he's got a shorter runway, but at the same time, he's still fast, and he looks like he's having fun. So that might make him go a little further in his career.
Yeah, we hope certainly we'll see him around for a while more. But the good news is we get to see him right now. Joining us from the racetrack is Kurt Busch himself. Kurt, thank you so much for taking some time for our special show here, all about the Busch brother duo. And obviously you hail from Las Vegas, Nevada. How special is it for you each time you get to go home and race?
It's always great coming back, seeing friends, family, and my old sponsor was Star Nursery. He sponsored the tires for our race car this weekend, so a big shout out to Craig Q, Star Nursery. He still has the old racing habit like I have. Neither one of us can kick it.
So, Kurt, it's a known fact that you and your brother might have had some ups and downs over the years, but you two look like you're getting along pretty good. How has that evolved over the past few years?
I mean, we wrecked each other going for $1 million at the All-Star race, and I think that really is the only time that we've taken each other out, so to speak. We try to help each other on plate races. We race against each other hard on short tracks. We treat each other like teammates, even though we're on different teams, and it's the respect factor that I think that grows stronger each year, but also that sibling rivalry. I want to do my part to still hold my end of the stick to this, because I got to keep pushing him, and then every time I push him, I think I'm making him better. So again, it gets back to I taught him everything he knows.
That's right. You got the upper hand at Kentucky, I think it was, just not a short time ago. But along with that, Kurt, you've had a brilliant career and won some big races in the championship. You think of the Coke 600, the Daytona 500 just a couple of years ago. What really stands out to you? What's personal, most personal to you, Kurt?
For me, you know, the championship, a Daytona win, you know, those marquee wins. And, you know, I had a small checklist, though, of getting poles at every style of track, getting wins at every style of track. And I haven't won at all the tracks like my little brother has. But what's weird is over the last second half of my career, I haven't, like, doubled down and won at the same track. And so a win at Pocono, win at Daytona, win at Bristol, I haven't repeated any of those wins. And I think that just shows the way that I've been able to adapt with the different style cars, the tires, the aero, and that's what still fuels me to be the driver that I am and go after it here in 2020, my 20th full-time year. It's to be adaptive, and I'm having fun with it, and Chip Ganassi is a great spot for me.
I can see that. You know, a few years ago, you and I were hanging out at Darlington. We had a little bit of a history there, and you suggested to me that maybe you were toward the 9th inning of your career. And I can say that now because it seems like last year revitalized you, re-energized you. So what does it look like? What's the view for you going forward?
I've got some extra innings going right now. I've got some overtime, some green-white checkers, and all of it is the fun that I'm having with Chip Ganassi. But Monster Energy has been a great partner with me, and I'm proud to represent their brand. And now we're getting close to 10 years together. It's special to have that name recognition with them and to help them move the needle in pushing Monster Energy. And so that fun with Ganassi and then Chevrolet, you know, with Johnson retiring this year, we've got Chase Elliott, Larson Strong, of course. There's a whole fleet of guys, but I'm also happy to do my part as a veteran and to push what might be, you know, new technology with our next gen car. So having a lot of fun with all the different categories.
And Kurt, the fun really began years and years ago at that bull ring out at Las Vegas. What were your experiences like when you were young, kind of coming through racing and being out at that venue, starting your career there?
You know, what a great track to kind of hone my skills on and to learn from my dad. My mom was there volunteering to be the scorekeeper from qualifying, to be the lineup girl. She did the payout window at the end. It was such a family effort, and that's what I'll always remember, was that we went to the track not necessarily to have fun. We went there to get a trophy and not make too many friends. And over the years, it's now fun to smile back upon that and go, you know, we didn't even know what we were really doing. We had no idea how far we would go. But I have a lot of people to thank in the city of Las Vegas that helped me get to where I am. And Craig Q from Star Nursery is one of them. My dad and my mom, of course. And then Richie Klein built this facility, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, right when I was hitting my prime in the 90s, trying to work my way up. And I feel like I graduated with this racetrack.
All right, Kurt, thank you so much for sharing the stories, the insight. We appreciate your time very much. Best of luck to you out in Las Vegas.
You got it. You should see the one car ahead of the 18, I promise, okay?
We will be looking for it. He mentions the 18. Well, check this out. Just last night, Kyle Busch, the driver of the 18, hopped into a late model race at the Bull Ring. He and Kurt, of course, grew up racing there, as we just heard, and Kyle has over 50 wins at the Las Vegas track. But in typical Kyle fashion, he returned to victory lane once again. But a very cool flashback to the past for Kyle. And guys, I think it's so neat when we see drivers, the Cup stars, returning to the grassroots level where they started their career and having a whole new experience once again there.
It's really cool because they're paying a tribute to their very early innings and where it all began. And I know I'm old enough that I met both of these guys when they came into the scene of NASCAR, and I was in awe. I mean, they are ridiculously talented. And going back to a local track is an example of that. You can't rough up the guys that do it every week.
No, and Kyle Busch is one of the best at it. He goes and runs a lot of different racetracks, has done this for years, and he always gives back to where he started off on the roots of grassroots of racing. So always good to see. And obviously he's a shoe-in at Las Vegas, but a lot of tough guys there. He had to win it. It was not easy, but at the same time, it's always great to see these guys do that and go back to see the fans and to be able to race.
He's off to a great start already with a victory out here in Las Vegas. When we get back, we are talking all about Kurt's brother, Kyle, and we will hear from his wife, Samantha, about what he's like behind the scenes. Stick around. Welcome back to a special NASCAR Race Hub all about the Busch brothers. Kyle Busch can be known as a pretty intense athlete sometimes, but his wife Samantha gives us a unique perspective about how competitive the whole family really is.
So everybody sees Kyle out on the racetrack, but Kyle, the dad, the husband, the brother, that's somebody totally different. You know, he's fun and he's engaging and he's loving. So I think people might have an idea of, you know, Kyle and even Kurt, but you know what? When you get them outside the helmet, they're just fun and goofy and outgoing. Well, I would say that Kyle and I kind of complement and balance each other. You know, sometimes when there is a bad race out on the track, he can come back and just be with Braxton and I and leave that behind. But then there's times that he comes back and Braxton and I are just as mad as he is, and I don't think we help the situation at all. One of the funniest stories is Truex and Kyle were racing very hard in Indy, and Kyle was going for 3 in a row.
Green flag is in the air. Truex gets jumped side by side, and the apex is turn number 1. And then they contact. Busch goes around. Truex goes around.
And we both get back to the bus, and Braxton goes, "Dad, that was so cool. Your guys' car was on fire, and it was such a big wreck. It was awesome, Dad. Good job." Like, how do you not just kind of laugh and put it into perspective with that. We've just been in this sport for a really long time, and so, you know, think of yourself at a younger age, or even your kids, and how they grow up and mature, and we've just done that together. We've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and we've learned a lot, but we've also grown, and I just think that we did it, and especially him, for the world to see.
I love that. Very cool hearing from Samantha, better half of Kyle Busch. Some of those stories really funny, but how have you guys noticed Kyle Busch, the evolution of him as a person, as a competitor?
So there's no question that children are therapy. I mean, they help everything bad disappear. But I also think there's another component where Kyle got hurt a few years back, really bad in Daytona, and fractures to both legs, and he maybe had a different perspective watching everybody continue to compete without him. He had to swallow his lump with Hendrick, went to Gibbs, lit him up, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, obviously right now, at Gibbs, and I vacated the seat for him, but at Gibbs, I helped him out. He's obviously in the right place at the right time, and Joe and everybody at Gibbs Racing really has taken him in. They do a great job together. He performs like no other, and he is the face of that organization now. So Gibbs is the right place for him. He's been through some tough times getting there. He is growing up. He's got kids and a family, so it's pretty cool to see that he's where he's at today.
Yeah, no question, though. Joe Gibbs Racing, right place for Kyle Busch. Is it easy to see every week why both Kyle and Kurt make headlines in NASCAR? Alan Cavana takes a look at where they stack up historically and what makes the duo such a good show.
We all love rivalries, but when it comes to competition, brother versus brother just has a different feel. This sport has a long history of family ties. The Allisons and the Labanis, the Waltrips and the Wallaces. But it's the Busch brothers who've set the standard. For more than a decade, Kurt and Kyle Busch have been at the top of the NASCAR food chain, pushing the field and each other around. Bobby and Donnie Allison hold the record for combined brotherly wins with 94. Kurt and Kyle stand at 87, with some years to go. Terry and Bobby Labonte were the first set of brothers to win titles, a total of 3. Kyle's Cup last year means the Bushes have caught up. Of course, their paths have crossed through the years. At the 2007 All-Star race, older brother Kurt got the worst of this contact from younger brother Kyle.
I was waiting for the day when we got together. We did, and we were racing for $1 million. So we'll see what he has to say about it, and we'll see what we can do to discuss it.
The brothers have finished first and second in a race 3 times over their careers, 2 of them just last year. Kurt came close enough to have Kyle worried at Bristol, but it was younger brother who prevailed. 3 months later in Kentucky,
Kurt Busch battles back on the outside. It's a dead heat on turn 4.
Kurt wasn't going to let that happen again.
Kurt Busch will come on and win.
They each have dozens of wins. Kyle has 1 more title. Kurt has a shiny Daytona 500 trophy. Beating the competition is great. Beating your brother just seems a little sweeter. But maybe sharing the success with family is the best part of it all.
Kurt and Kyle, a great look at just who they are from Alan. Thank you, Alan. And here is where the two stack up against a couple of Hall of Famers. Terry and Bobby Labonte, of course, good for 43 Cup wins and 3 championships. The Busch brothers tallying 87 Cup wins, and Kyle's championship last year matched the 3 from Terry and Bobby. So I'll start with you, Bobby. Where do you feel like the Busch brothers are going to rank all time in terms of their accomplishments?
Oh, at the top. There's no doubt that these guys are so tough. I mean, they've run less races than Terry and I did. They've won twice as much. I mean, these guys every week in and week out. I mean, there's no doubt. And I love seeing some of those highlights. I forgot about some of them, but it's great to see those guys and how they hug each other in victory lane. They push each other, and that's what's so great. That's going to put them at the top, I believe. There's no way that I would think differently about it. They just have it all going on, and I don't see them slowing down.
Yeah, I was teammates with Terry. I'm teammates now with Bobby. They're great guys, and they have a completely different personality than Kurt and Kyle. But I do have to agree with Bobby for the first time in 2020, and that statistically, the Busch brothers are amazing, and they're still cranking along.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're different, Kaitlyn. Kyle is very, very, very aggressive, and, you know, statistically, he leads 1,000 laps, I think, 10 times in his 10 seasons. Kurt's never done that, but Kurt has a way of closing 31 wins, and he's at his best when it matters most. But collectively, I think they're going to go down in history as the best combination, and they'll exceed the Allisons here eventually, not too far away.
Yeah, two different styles, as you mentioned, for their racing.
Yeah.
Brothers are always a little different, which reminds me of something with you and yours called Which Brother? Take a look.
Some guy came into me after the race and asked me which Labonte was a better driver.
Oh, really? What'd you tell him?
Told him I was.
Why'd you tell him that?
I am.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
Uh-uh.
Well, who won Richmond?
Well, who won Michigan?
Well, who won Bristol?
Who won Charlotte?
Well, who won the championship?
Oh, man.
Who drives the Monte Carlo?
Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more champions trust, including the better Labonte.
Who's the better athlete?
Who's the better actor?
Who's the better singer?
That right there captures both Terry and Bobby's personality. Everybody in the garage says, if you want to have a beer with somebody, it's those guys.
We'll be on the list for that, right?
Yeah. Before I won my championship, darn it.
Yeah, so which brother is better? Do we have an answer to this yet?
No, I'm not getting in the middle of that.
Texas Terry is. He's got
Terry.
one more race win.
There you go.
And champion.
Well, did you and him ever fight?
Nope.
That's where,
I will get beat
no
up.
Fighting?
Why fight somebody when you're going to get beat up all the time?
Well, that's true. But there is a big fight coming up that I want to talk about. In one day, don't miss the anticipated title fight in years. Undefeated heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder takes on 29-0 Tyson Fury in the rematch the sports world has been waiting for. Tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Buy it now on pay-per-view or on the Fox Sports app. And stay with us here on FS1. When we come back, we will send it back out to the racetrack for final practice for the Cup cars. Stay with us here on FS1. Welcome back to NASCAR Race Hub, and race fans, download the Super 6 app and play Super 6 NASCAR for free. Just pick where the 6 drivers will finish, and you could win the Progressive Jackpot, which is already up to $20,000. Not too bad. Download the app now and play it for free. And here is a look at the schedule for the rest of the day. Up next is the final practice for the Cup Series. Then Todd Bodine and Phil Parsons will join me here in the studio at 8:30 for race day before the Gander Truck Series kicks off at 9 p.m. Eastern. All of that is right here on FS1. And we had first practice, guys, earlier today out in Las Vegas. Here's a look at Kurt. We've been talking about him all throughout the show. Impression of the Busch guys in practice.
Yeah, Kurt Busch was 7th in first practice, and these guys are really just filling their cars out for the first time. He looked really good. The Chevrolets looked fairly fast. There was a Ford up front, but the Chevrolets were right behind him. So I think maybe they've got a little bit of advantage over this year of the start of last year.
Yeah, and here's his brother Kyle. What'd you make of this race?
So he was 15th in practice, Kaitlyn, but that's not reason to be optimistic if you look at it just from, statistically. That's nothing to celebrate. But if you go back a year ago, the Penske cars were the authority. None of them qualified well, but they raced great and, of course, had a lot of speed and a lot of wins early on in the season. I expect the same from Kyle.
Yeah, still another practice session to go today. Here's a look at how those two stack up in Sin City. Both have 2 poles here, but Kyle the only one with a win. Kurt still looking to check that box in his hometown, and he'll have that opportunity to do so in just 2 days. But as I mentioned, final practice coming up for the Cup cars. Guys, what do you have an eye on as this session approaches?
For me, it's drivers logging laps, and if they run a lot of laps, they're comfortable with the car, and I think that's a very encouraging indicator. If you go back to Clint Boyer winning the pole at Las Vegas, that was the end of the highlight for Stewart Haas. It seemed as though they just they didn't have, they had great speed, but not good balance. So I'm looking for laps, not speed.
Well, again, it's an impound race, so this is the final practice. So they really need to get, like you said, log some laps in. Filling the car out in the first practice, and then seeing what they're going to do in the second practice. It means a lot. Qualifying, are they going to make qualifying runs? Have guys already done it?
Yeah.
So basically, it comes down to a feel of your race car, so you can tell your crew chief how it feels overnight. You can make a couple adjustments and get ready for qualifying.
All right, and really quickly, we've been talking about the Busch brothers. What's it like racing in front of the hometown crowd? Extra pressure, yes or no?
Added pressure, a little extra responsibility because you got family, friends. But listen, Kyle's got a win at home. I'm pulling for Kurt to get a win at home.
Yeah, you want him to get that first.
I always had fun
win.
at Texas, so I'm good.
There you go, hometown. For Bobby, Ricky, and myself, that does it for us. It is time now, though, to send it back out to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for final practice for the Cup Series.